What's up, guys? It's me, Dave. I'm back, and I want to know what you experienced during the solar eclipse. They said it was going to be historical for many reasons. Let's see. They talked about, in case you didn't know, the uh, the alignment of planets that did happen. I actually checked that out, and we also had a comet. I think it was called Pons Brooks, um, and we didn't get a chance to see it during the eclipse. And where I am, I got 90% of the eclipse. I have some photos I'll show you in a little while, and a couple of recordings too. Got a few videos on it. But unfortunately, some of the videos and the pictures are, I don't know, it just looks like pillows because unfortunately they were doing their geoengineering during the solar eclipse, or right before actually. Um, it was awful. Um, First thing in the morning on the 8th, I got up and I just saw they were just spraying and spraying and spraying. It was crazy. It was nuts. Anyways, how you guys doing? It's hump day, and I thought this would be appropriate since this was supposed to be the most historical eclipse in our history, or one of them. What we were supposed to see was like Venus. I believe a few people saw Venus. I think I saw Venus over the horizon toward the end. Um, when I show you the pictures, we actually, I stopped when it got around 50%, but it actually went all the way to about 90%. So it's pretty cool to see. But unfortunately, with all the spraying they did ahead of the sun's movement toward the west, um, it wasn't as good as the one in, I think it was 2017. That was just absolute clear skies for that one. But anyways, I took issue with that, and we're going to take a look at something here. I mean, before we get into anything else in geoengineering or these chemtrails you see, most people don't look up. So the actual statistics I looked up, it's almost like 60% of the time or 65% of the time we're actually looking straight, and because of the smartphone, we're always looking down too. And if we're not looking down, it's left and right, walking or driving. Very rarely, maybe 10 to 15% people look up. And it's usually because something makes them look up. A noise, an airplane, something to that nature, or to that effect. But I mean, no one just looks up just to look. And that goes back to my video yesterday about equipment that you can actually purchase and look into a different spectrum, and you'd be surprised what you'd see. But today we're talking about the eclipse because um, I saw other people complaining about how they were just spraying. That's how I'm going to call it, but we'll call it geoengineering, and they were doing it on the day of the eclipse. I get what the scientists want to do, or what they say they're doing, is to reflect some of the sunlight back into space so that, to help with global warming, and we can read the rest. I mean, I have it right here on Wikipedia. I can pull that up for you right now, and we'll go over that, and let's see what they say. Drove me nuts. Of all days to spray in front of the sun, you're going to do it on the 8th of April when we're supposed to be viewing an historical solar eclipse. I just don't get it. And anyways, let's go to our display capture, and we're going to get the wiki on this. So let's go ahead and look that up. geoengineering. Let's get wiki on there. All right, so I hope you guys can see that okay. So they call it climate engineering or geoengineering. They say it's an umbrella term for both carbon dioxide removal, interesting, and solar radiation modification when applied at a planetary scale. So it's not like they're doing this in a few cities or populated areas. They're doing this all over the place. But what I have noticed is it's always in front of the sun. It's not anywhere else, which would make sense if you're going by what they say here, the experts. Let's see what else they talk about here. And obviously they talk about how they disperse it. They got these massive planes and they do this stratospheric aerosol injection, a proposed method to introduce aerosols into the stratosphere to create a cooling effect via global dimming and increased albedo, which occurs naturally from volcanic eruptions. And that's true. But, I got a question. What are these chemicals? I've heard of 2 out of 3. I think there's more than that, but they talk about strontium, barium, something along the lines of some type of aluminum. And eventually, I think some of that stuff does fall back down to Earth. I don't know. I can't imagine it going out to space if they're spraying it, at 25,000, 30,000 feet. I mean, where's it going after that? And what effects could it have on us? But basically, they're just trying to, from what they're saying on here, solar engineering, they're just trying to make it cloudy in front of the sun on a beautiful day. But there was the one day before, no, on the 14th, I actually went out and I took some pictures. And this is going to make it even more interesting. There was no geoengineering on the 14th. So remember, when you take pictures outside and you're going to take pictures, of the sky, especially the sun, do not do it behind a glass window. I'm sure you've heard that many times from Mr. MRB333, who's our Earth Watcher. Very good channel. And if you haven't been to that channel, definitely subscribe and check him out. He's awesome. He's really knowledgeable in this stuff. And I have some knowledge, but not a lot. I'm just trying to get out there what I know and share it with you guys and get some dialogue going. But this is from my camera. I just have an Android phone, and I took this picture, and there is no geoengineering. This is the way it should look when you take a picture of the sky when they're not spraying. Here's the problem. This is if you're not behind a glass and you're outside. You should have one lens flare. In your camera, you have this aperture in there that just causes that lens flare, and that's normal. But here was the thing that I found interesting. I see this little, and it's always a greenish, bluish color. And I've been seeing that for a few years. As a matter of fact, August of last year, I sent a video to Mr. MBB333, and he put it up on one of his uploads to YouTube, along with another guy, 20 minutes apart from when I was doing my video. This other gentleman was doing the same video, and he was seeing the object in a different part of the sun. When you zoom in, I'll show you the video when I zoom in. And you can actually see the object is up there. I'm not saying it's right next to the sun, but it's around the sun enough, close enough to light it up so that you can see that in your aperture. You should not have to see those two things when you point your camera to the sun. You should just see this. That would be normal. This is abnormal. And I took another one. It's just about the same, but a little more clear. And correction, I took that on the 15th. Now that I'm remembering that. Washing my car. So, I'll give you some close-up images. And if you look up at you can see the one here, and this is the one from the sun, the two flares. And for me, from where I was and where I am in the country, I'm in the Northeast, New York. Right underneath you, Bruce, at the 1 o'clock position. And to me, I would think that would be way behind the sun. God knows how many thousands or maybe millions of miles away, but enough for it to light up. It was right there at the 1 o'clock position. So that's when I zoomed in, and you can still see they're both there. And here's another one. I mean, this is crazy. Now, I'm not saying anything against the government, but if you go on their websites and you look at the sun, whether you're looking at the Soho or, you know, one of their satellites out there that keep a constant watch for us for, you know, for solar storms and such, you'll see they have that, what they call a disk in the middle. And so we can get a good glimpse of the corona. And as a matter of fact, we have a little, as we speak, unless it left already. I wanted to get that up for you today, but I didn't have the time to. But there's actually like that round thing like we had in 2012 that was attached to the sun. I think at that time it was just looked like a tornado connected to it. This one has like 3 legs connected to a round disc. And I mean, this thing has to be huge. And I'm just waiting for it to pull away from the sun. I don't know what it is. They call it a cavity. I'm not sure if I buy that, but that's their official. That's what they officially call it. It's a cavity. I'm seeing a round object sucking onto the sun for about a week or two, and then it pulls away. And you can actually see the round disc leaving. So, to me, a cavity would mean an indentation into the corona. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, I don't understand why they're calling it a cavity, but I guess that's the best they could come up with. Or maybe I just don't understand. I'm not a science. I didn't study science like that. But anyways, see if we can get some videos, because this was interesting. This was the first day after the solar eclipse, literally, that there was no spraying or chemtrails or geoengineering. And there is a difference. You know, your commercial planes, you're going to have lines behind them, but they disappear pretty quickly after just a few minutes. Geoengineering is different. You'll see where the point of the line started in the east and where it ends in the west, usually before where the sun is going, which is obviously going to the west for sunset. And they will geoengineer the hell out of it. But this day was clear. So I'm going to play the first video, and this is how this video went. But you can see there's 2 lens flares. It's not normal. So I zoom in, and if you look at the 1 o'clock position, and this is just with a phone. Our phones have like the best cameras now. Everybody has one. We don't look up enough. There you are, right there. That's not normal. It's just not normal. You know what I mean, man? It's crazy. Look at that. There should be one lens flare in the aperture of your camera. I'm like zoomed out a little bit, so I'm showing you that there's still two. And that's all you should have. I got another one. Same day, about a half hour later, maybe, I think it was. And you can see still two. Not more, you should not see two. And there it is, right up there. You guys see that? That's not normal. I don't know what it is. I can't call it a planet. I can't call it anything. All I know is it's an object. And if you compare the Earth to the sun, whatever that thing is pretty big. But look how it reflects off that object is reflecting from the sun. It's amazing. And there you go. That is kind of like what I sent in last year to Mr. MBB333, and that was on the 15th. So during the eclipse, um, I was disappointed because we were, you know, everybody in our neighborhood, we had our cameras ready, and we're pretty excited because we're in the 90% area, um, not far from Syracuse, Rochester, and I'm going to show you some of those if I can. All right, let's see. So, just to give you an idea of what the skies look like before the solar eclipse, let me know if this happened to you. Now, that's disappointing. I mean, this is looking pretty much, I don't know, I think it was 11:30 in the morning, maybe 12. So, um, I want to say maybe it was 1:30. It was almost time for, it was almost our turn. You can see the colors changing right there. You get those colors because of what they spray. If it's barium and strontium, those things have aluminum in them. Have you ever seen those big halos around the sun? You know that those that we didn't see as kids. I mean, at least if you're as old as I am. Not that I'm old, but you never saw those halos with sun dogs on the left and the right side. That's all because they spray. They're doing the geoengineering. Like I said, they're trying to reflect the sunlight back out into space. But now I just showed you this object that seems to come and go, and makes you wonder, are they really spraying, chemtrailing for that to keep the radiation, solar radiation, out to space, or are they really just trying to cover that up because maybe it has other babies with it, and at some point they know when it's going to show up and they don't want us to see it? Who knows? I don't know. I mean, we don't work for these agencies that have the ability, if they really wanted to make sure that we don't see certain things that might freak us out. You know, because some people will freak out if they see 3, 4 planets up there. I'm not saying there is. I'm just saying as an example. But I'm seeing one, so it makes you wonder: is it all about geoengineering and sending that radiation back out into space, and to cool the Earth down a little bit, or is it a combination of both? So who knows? But that was before um, it was our turn for the eclipse. I think around that time I think it was Ohio was getting hit with, or not getting hit. They were experiencing the eclipse. Then this is what I mean. Um, I've seen the other eclipse, and that time there was no geoengineering. There was none of that. But if you look at this video here, you see. Well, first let's start with the one that was. Start with this one. And now just I'm gonna pause it just for a minute. Just bear with me. Remember, I told you up here for us, and I heard a lot of other people along the path of totality. They were saying they saw some geoengineering happening. Why would you do that on the day we're supposed to experience the comet, Pons Brooks, and see Venus to the right, and possibly even Jupiter if you had the right telescope? Or they say some people would have seen it with the naked eye when it was completely obfuscated, dark. I don't know. You see how it's all fluffy? I mean, it should be sharp looking, but it's not, because all this here is all that stuff in the air that they sprayed all day long. So the eclipse wasn't a climax for us, unfortunately, even though I watched it until it was right about here, because I'm just east of the Rochester area. So I didn't record it until the 90% coverage, but just to give you an idea, you see how that's not very sharp. Like when you looked at, remember how it started in Mexico and they had their TV cameras on it? There was no geoengineering down there. It was a perfectly beautiful, beautiful day down there. I mean, there were a few clouds, but not enough to block out the sun. And obviously, it wasn't done manually with those chemicals. So they had a great view in Mexico, and even some parts of Texas. It seemed like when it started getting up toward the Ozarks, passing through there, coming up to the Northeast, even into Canada. I'm hearing other YouTubers talking about how the chemtrailing was just incredibly bad on a day we're supposed to watch an historical eclipse. But you see how fluffy that is? That should be sharp looking, and it's not. And it's all because they sprayed. So I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments. Chemtrailing. I mean, do you believe they're actually doing it to, for climate change, or do you think they're doing it for both? Because I showed you proof on a day they weren't spraying, which was very surprising to me because here in New York State they spray a lot. I mean, last summer we had all the smoke from the fires in Canada, and then we had our own fires in the United States. So it was already cool. It wasn't very it wasn't very warm for us because we constantly had that smoke and haze. So it was kind of like this all the time. But there's another video that I took. And I think I zoom in a little bit on this one, but you can see how fluffy it looks. It just, the only time it really looked climatic for us, it was when it was right around here, because we weren't in the exact middle of totality, but it was nice to see. But it was like, it looks like a sun sitting on a pillow. It's, to me, it was tragic. Why would you spray? I mean, it was literally what, 48 degrees up here. I mean, I'm sure it was a lot warmer down south, but I just think it was unnecessary. They ruined it. It was just awful. And then I put the filter on this one. That's just a quick. This one has the filter on it. This one doesn't do much justice. But so yeah, I'm complaining. I was not happy with them spraying on the day we were supposed to enjoy the eclipse. I was not happy at all. Not There's plenty of us around, and we're all looking at it, and we were very disappointed. Just probably, I think this was at the 75% mark. This is the part when it was finishing. But this is just I just think we had an awful experience with it, and it's sad that we had it. Other people in the Northeast complained, and just look it up. It's everywhere. They were spraying the hell out of those skies. It was ridiculous. So, how was it for you guys? I mean, even if you weren't in the path of totality, you must have experienced. See, there's an example. That's a reason to look up. We don't do that every day. I'm not saying go out there and look up every day, but every once in a while, maybe twice a week, look up. You got your camera on you all the time, and you literally don't have to see anything. Your camera can sometimes, and I'm not saying your camera is anything special, but it can catch something beyond our spectrum, especially if you use it at night. You know how the camera goes into like, it's got the night mode. If your camera has night mode, iPhones definitely do. Some Androids do. Um, just take a 10-minute video and scan the skies, and even if you don't see anything, take it back in the house and review it. Put it on your laptop, computer, and review it, and you'd be surprised what you might find. And like I said, that's just with our camera using the night vision aperture on it. It works very good. But if you do see something that is not a plane and it's moving in ways that's not natural, ways that the aircraft that we know about don't move, like UAPs, definitely take a video of it and send it to me so we can get it up here on the human spectrum. I've been noticing a lot more daytime videos. That's interesting. People are talking about Florida. Florida, they're having a lot of issues with UAPs. And I was talking with my girlfriend about that incident that happened at the Bayside Mall in Miami. That's interesting in itself. So I've been looking and reading and watching some videos about that. But yeah, it was awful. I mean, they sprayed so bad that it just made the experience terrible. The only time it was good is when it was completely covered, and well, for us it was 90% covered. And that was pretty cool to see, but like I said, with all that stuff around it, it it did no justice. It was awful. I mean, you'd have to agree. So, did you guys have geoengineering in front of the sun before the eclipse? Even if you were not in the path of the totality, and especially if you were, let me know down in the comments. I want to know if you experienced, like, the difference between rain clouds and those pesky clouds that everybody was hoping wouldn't get in the way, and they get that break and they can get that picture and they can see what was going on. But this was this was awful how they handled it. Uh, no, I didn't like it at all. So if you have any short videos of the eclipse, no matter where you're from, send them to me. My email addresses are in the comments, just like I told you yesterday in my last video, um, or even images. And if you have images of the geoengineering before and after, I do have an after picture of it, and I think we can look at that one. This is what it looked like when the sun went down. Let's go one more time. See if I can get myself out of the way. And we'll look at this one right here. This was after everything was done. Now that's just a regular airplane. That's just regular contrails. All this you see over here, all of this is from chemtrails. Now that's looking to where the sun came up that morning. Nothing. But if you go back to the west where it sets, and that's why you have that black right there, see? Yeah. And I already did that. You saw those two lens flares. That's not normal. Try it for yourself one day when the skies are clear and they're not spraying. You might not get anything, but I'm getting it here, and other people are across the United States. And then it leaves this black stuff, you know. I never saw that as a kid. All that black that you'll see. I'll go see. This is nothing there. Nice and clear. Dark. There you go. Started this morning. And then it leaves this black stuff there. I mean, I don't know. I've seen hundreds of sunsets, and this black stuff. I think maybe that's just the remnants of all that spraying. Maybe it's starting to come back down. I don't know. But black isn't normal in the clouds. It's just not normal unless it's a huge thunderstorm. And even then, it's not black. It's just really dark blue. Just really dark blue or dark gray, almost charcoal, but not black. Look at that. I just don't. I don't know. So maybe they are doing it for good reasons, but when I take pictures on a clear day and see two lens flares in my aperture, that raises a lot of questions. It should for you too. So send me in your videos and images of your experience before and during your solar eclipse, if you'd like, and we'll look it over on here. And yeah, I think that was like the last one they did. But they just there you could see like plane after plane after plane, and these were not little planes, these are big planes. There must have been like 35 of them that I counted. They were going through before the solar eclipse came um, toward New York, and I mean, and it expanded fast. Their lines expanded quicker than normal. So I don't know if they added something in it to hurry up and do it, but why? Why would you do it on a day we're supposed to? I just don't get it. It's just, I don't know. It's awful. There must be a good reason for it, but I'm going to show you something though, because you guys heard about Pons Brooks, how during the solar eclipse there was what, a good 80% chance if you were in the path of totality, you would see Venus, possibly Jupiter, and everybody talked about the comet that looked like the devil or whatever. It's actually like volcanoes releasing whatever, I don't know, ice. They said the tail was approximately 10 to 30 million miles, the tail of this Pons Brooks. And I do believe I have a picture of it in here. Let's see if we can grab that picture. Let's see. This is Pons Brooks. I believe this is it right here. This is the night before the eclipse. Now there's only a little piece of it, so I'm going to stop it there and I'll show you. This was on the 7th in the evening. So the rest of it it doesn't show. Well, right about here it does. That was Pons Brooks. You could see it with the naked eye, especially the day before the solar eclipse. There was the tail. You know what I'm going to do? We're going to zoom in on that. I wonder if I can, yeah, I'll have to take a screenshot. And, let me see something here. Yeah, that was Pons Brooks, by the way. That was April 7th in the evening. Let's see if we get a better picture here. Right at the beginning. Yeah. You can see right here. And that's not the whole tail. I went down a little bit more. But I'm gonna blow up this picture and get you a better view on the next show. We'll throw that on there. But just remember, this was the night before. I woke up that morning and found them just spraying the hell out of the skies. I just knew right then and there that it was just going to be a bad experience. And you guys saw the videos for yourself. You saw the images. It was awful. Like I said, the only best part of it was when we saw the 90% coverage and then the moon started moving away and it got cold. I say temperatures must have dropped maybe 10 degrees. It wasn't dramatic, but you could feel it. And the crickets you could hear the crickets for a little while. So that was pretty cool. Because after the crickets went silent and the sun came back out, well, what was left of the sun from spraying, the birds kind of went back to normal. And it was just noisy up until nighttime. But that's Pons Brooks. That's the comet that we were supposed to see. It was supposed to be, I think, within perihelion with our solar system at the same time that we're gonna have the solar eclipse. This was supposed to show somewhere off to the left over here. So, but with all the spraying, that obviously wasn't possible. I mean, and this thing was supposed to be very bright in the sky, especially during totality. Or even if you didn't have totality, they say you would be able to see this because it was within perihelion. It was coming right through at the same exact time, which is historical. I mean, when did you hear of an eclipse with a comet that you could see at the same time, just around the same spot? I mean, that would have been amazing to catch at the same time. And if you did catch that, I would love to see a video of that. Please send that to me. I would love to see it, because it's just, I was so disappointed. But but I heard a lot of people, and I saw the one in Mexico came out really nice. Texas was worried. I think Dallas, or I believe it was Dallas, they were worried they were going to have rain, and it went well for them. So I'm happy for them. I'm happy for everybody that had a chance to get a good view of it. We were totally blocking they almost blocked the entire sun out. Just like you saw, it looked like just a sun sitting on a pillow. But yeah, this was the night before Pons Brooks. It was right there with the naked eye. Yeah. So, what was your experience? I mean, haven't received any videos yet. I checked, and hopefully I'll get a few. If not, I'll keep getting stuff, and I got a lot of stuff lined up. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think you'll be happy with what I have coming. But I am waiting for videos and images from you guys so that I can share it up there with you, and go over it with you. Let's tear it apart and see what we find. Anything interesting, especially if it's something that you can't identify, something that you're not used to seeing, what they call a UAP, or now we're seeing purple things in the sky. And that's very rare for the color purple to be in our skies. I mean, it's usually orange. You usually find, sometimes bright reds on sunsets, white, blue, of course, but purple. No, there's a video about that. I don't remember where I saw it. There was a purple object. I don't know, maybe 7 to 8 feet long, that was dipping into the water. I can't remember which video I saw that on, but I'm going to find out, get permission, and see if I can show a clip of that to you. That was crazy. And it would go right back out of the water and go back up. And it was like a snake. It was snake-like. And it had like these three dark spots in the middle. But the rest of it was like this very, very bright, abnormally neon purple. It was just amazing. So I'm talking about it and I can't even show you, but I'll find it, and I'll get it up here so you guys can see. But yeah. This was was disappointing for me, so I really wanted clear skies that day, because I knew we had like my neighbor, he had this camera set up where if it was clear, he would have had an excellent view of Pons Brooks. So you would have had the eclipse, Jupiter to the left with Pons Brooks, Venus to the right, and the solar eclipse all at the same time. Now that's historical. If you can catch all those together, and it's not to mention all the earthquakes that are surrounding us. When I say surrounding us, New York State, 5.0, New Jersey, really, I mean, and it was literally like a mile deep, maybe 2 miles. So it makes you wonder if what caused that, or what influenced that earthquake, was below or from above. Who knows? That's what we're here to talk about. That's what the human spectrum is about. So, where is, yeah. Yep. So, that's what happened to me. That's what happened to my neighbors. We were all disappointed. It was nice, but that spraying was just ridiculous. I mean, it was um it was a letdown. I mean, why would they do it on that day? I mean, if they did it throughout the whole path of totality and you had that experience, send me a video, a picture of it if you have it. Or if you didn't see it, but if you did see it and don't have any, evidence of it, put it in the comments. Say, yeah, I did see that. I want to know. And from where? Because it was just totally disappointing for us up here. But but like I showed you the night before, you could see that comet that they've been talking about. At least on YouTube, they've been talking about it. I think the only mainstream media that was talking about Pons Brooks, that comet that they've been tracking for about, I don't know, maybe 8 months. And the closer it got to our sun, the longer the tail got. I remember when it was like estimated at 5 million miles. But man, I think the last time they said it was almost 30 million miles long, the tail. Can you imagine that? What a spectacle that would have been with clear skies. I'm befuddled. It's unbelievable. All right, I'm done. I'm done bitching about that stuff. So, all right. I don't think I had anything else for you guys. I just wanted to talk about the eclipse and what I experienced. And hopefully, you guys can send me what you experienced. Um, you can get me at DJ Capone 46, DJ Capone 46 at gmail.com. And we have our business email also in the description. And there's more than enough room for you to send videos and images. And send them my way. And let's throw it up here on the human spectrum and let's go over it. I look forward to it. Can't wait until you guys start sending me this stuff. And I guess that's it for today. I wanted to talk about the eclipse and how disappointed I was. But I am glad for those that actually had the experience to see at least the total solar eclipse without all that spray and that nice view of Venus to the right. Just that alone is just beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see, and it only happens every so often. So you can understand our disappointment. My neighbor was very disappointed. He had this nice equipment ready. It's a whole thing he had going, but what are you gonna do? We had no control over that. So we look straight, we look down, left and right, almost 65% of the time. Start looking up, and especially at night, you never know what you're going to catch. Even if you're not sure what it is, staying still. It might be a star, it might not be. Start rolling that video, because your camera will catch something that you might not see right there and then. But when you bring it back in, plug it in or Bluetooth it to your computer, you might see some interesting things. Trust me, I've done it, and I've seen a lot of things. That's the stuff I'm talking about that I'll be using until I can get some stuff from my viewers and subscribers. So I appreciate you watching, and we'll be back tomorrow with some more stuff. So, and if you enjoy what you're seeing, subscribe. And for those of you who are just meeting me for the first time, I'm also a producer, music producer, and composer. I have another official artist channel. It's called at dj.capone. That's my entertainment name for DJing, DJ Capone. If you look at my first video, you'll know where that name came from. So, not to get that mistaken with Al Capone. But yeah, subscribe and make sure you send me whatever you got. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, guys. DJ Capone.